Live on YouTube. Here we go. Folks, Kurt Panan in here, your host of the Mañana morning check-in. It is morning today, and happy Monday to you. Let's do our best to just knock it out of the park this week and blow it away. Speaking of which, last night I was on a LinkedIn live streamed with a gentleman named Paul. He owns a thing called Dealer Vendor Match. So Dealer Vendor Match is it's kind of a network of vendors, professionals that work in the automotive field. And then he helps kind of play like matchmaker to bring dealers and vendors together. And he had me on as a guest last night on the Dealer Vendor Match Sunday Night Live show. And we had a blast. In fact, Paul had a series of questions to ask me, and we didn't get to the questions. We just had a really good time having a conversation about the difference between automotive and power sports and some of the obvious obstacles that power sports dealers might have, dealing with multiple brands or not having a specialist to work on different sections of a motorcycle, right? Like a motorcycle technician works on the bike from, front wheel to the back wheel, everything in between. Whereas in the automotive industry, someone might be a transmission specialist or an internal engine guy or a suspension guy, things like that, right? So we talked about some of the obvious differences between power sports and automotive, and we talked on some of the importance of developing training for these different things, but we didn't really get into like specific questions about how the Power Sport Academy actually makes an effect or change within the dealer network. So I'm going to be a guest on next Sunday's show. So I'm going to do my best to promote that a little bit and try and attract a little bit more of our audience to Paul's show. We see the value of kind of combining the messaging of automotive and power sports together, but they are different. And so, if we can bring some power sports ears to Paul's show, I think it'll be a really good rounded kind of thing. And it's live and you can make comments and ask questions and all those kinds of things while we're doing it. So it ends up being a really good thing. Now it's Sundays and it's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And so that would be 8 o'clock on the East Coast, right? Which I know is a little late on a Sunday, but I think he picked Sunday because most automotive and power sports dealers are closed on Sundays, or at least closed at 8 o'clock at night on Sunday on the East Coast. I think that's why he chooses that. I'm not a Sunday kind of guy naturally. I like to spend time with family on that day and maybe just pick up a couple loose ends, tie things together. But he does the show every Sunday. And so we're a part of that. And I'm looking forward to being on it next Sunday as well. My brain stuck on Wednesday. Sorry about that. Now, big news for me. This is a personal thing. This is not business related. Okay. I do a thing called the Great Cycle Challenge. I do it every year. This is my 4th year. And the Great Cycle Challenge is an event, but it's a month-long event. And you ride your bicycle as much as you commit to doing, right? And you generate recognition, awareness, and funding for children's cancer. Not so you help people get cancer, but how you help cure them from cancer, right? Help them through cancer. And so I'm a childhood cancer survivor myself. I feel tied to this project, and I've got a small team assembled under the Mañana name. And today was a big day because I got an email from the Great Cycle Challenge that said that we had exceeded $1,000 in fundraising already. Now I say we. It's not a we situation. I'm going to be honest with you. I was doing the Stop Soldier Suicide Challenge last month, and I was kind of focusing on raising the money for Stop Soldier Suicide. My goal was $250 or $200, something like that. And I think over $580 or something like that was raised for the Stop Soldier Suicide. So I made the goal for that event, and that ended at the end of July. And then for the first couple of weeks of August, to be honest, I've been catching up on Mañana and Power Sport Academy work, right? I've just been trudging along, trying to get things going, get that ball rolling, get that entrepreneur juice going, right? But other people on the team continued to ride, train, and fundraise for the Great Cycle Challenge. And we're over $1,000 already, which I'm really pleased about. Charles Pierce is on the team, and so far he's raised the most amount of money. It's not a contest. But Charles, big shout out to him. So far, he's brought in the most fundraising, and he's doing his training rides, and he's logging all of his rides. in Strava, which ports over to the Great Cycle Challenge profile page. Angela Betts has also done some fundraising, and I'm just really, really stoked to have folks on the team participating, doing, and making things happen. So we've got that going on. The other thing is, and I don't want to stress Power Sports Academy too much because I did that earlier talking about the show, but we've got a couple of new dealers that are looking to come on. And, this still has that cool startup vibe, right? It still has that cool, like every new customer is like, yes, yes, yes. And when you're talking to a new customer that has 2 or 3 dealerships, that gets really exciting, right? Because then we're adding good users, good culture, and everything to the system. And we are continuing to validate that although my training methods are different, although the platform is different than what dealers are used to, it's effective. And that's the whole goal was, how do we make this more effective? How do we make this more productive? How do we make this more profitable, right? Dealers, number one complaint when I was making training for OEMs, the number one complaint was, I can't have my guys out of the shop. I can't send people out on the road for 2-3 days to go take some rah-rah course. I can't do it, right? I got a business to run here. I can't be sending my employees out all over the country and no one's running the store. So I made a blended learning environment that really uses a lot of virtual tools. And I built this before COVID. This was always the intention, to build something that was virtual and something that has static content. Static means doesn't change a lot, right? So have static content that can be used as resources so that my students can go in there, educate themselves, learn theory, all that kind of stuff. But then once a month, we have a support call. And that support call is when they bring in their homework and we have an interactive conversation via Zoom and we coach them. And we say, where are you at? Where's your struggle at this month? What are you trying to accomplish? What are your goals? You don't have a goal? Let's set a goal. And then, we just start working with folks. And it's to see people make that transition over time to where they begin to manage their department instead of their department managing them. It's fantastic. It's such a hoot to do it. And so we've got a couple of people looking to add to the network, and I can't wait to get you in here and have fun with you and build your staff and teach people, a different kind. It's not changing the whole business. I'm not saying that, we're going to turn everybody into Walmart. That's not the goal, right? The goal is to keep your individuality, but work on relationship building skills, work on communication skills, hone your sense of leadership to a point where you don't have that revolving door and people always trying to look for the next dollar down the road, right? You want to be able to have a team that has good culture, good cohesiveness, good communication. And through that communication, you can begin to birth processes that lend themselves to profit. And it's a really fun process. You got to put in the time, you got to be committed to the success, but the people that do it see the results. And that's the fun part. It really is awesome. Now, outside of that, our project up in San Francisco is killing it. You remember when I said I usually like to keep Sundays to myself? Well, this Sunday, I kept Sunday to me and my keyboard. We, Saturday and Sunday, just knocked out a ton of work. They're about 7 days away, 7 days away, a week away from wanting to launch their project. And so for the next week, I'm going to be double timing it and really cleaning things up, cleaning up the gaps and the padding between images, making sure that all the hot links to different parts of the site work, making sure that the shop is connected to the products properly, and that, all of the APIs, and that's computer talk, but making sure that everything that's supposed to hook something to something else, make sure that all those hooks work so that if someone buys something, they get added to the mail list. If someone joins the mail list, it gets added to this newsletter sending, and all this stuff has to be built out. And so over the next 7 days, we're going to plow through this. A lot of the design work is already done. A lot of the basic making it pretty and putting major components together is done. But now it's time to fine tune it and really run through it and make sure that the user experience is what we want for their clients, right? So I'm super stoked to be pulling that out. And then, of course, we've got that writing contract that came through. And I'm super stoked that, yes, it's cool to make websites and do design and graphics and all these things. but sometimes it's great just to do something that keeps you mentally sharp, right? And working on editing for technical material is one of those things that just seems to be the deal. So we've got that contract too. Folks, I hope that you are hitting your week with this much enthusiasm. I hope that you are really digging this, okay? If you get a chance, look up Dealer Vendor Match in LinkedIn. Go check out the replay. See if you like the show, and see if you want to join the live one next Sunday. All right. Have yourself a great one, and I will talk to you guys